To help us compare mobile operating system today, our ferret will represent Android and our cat will represent iOS. Just kidding, we don't exploit animal labor here. Hello world, hey Google, hey Siri. In this video we'll briefly look at operating systems and we'll try to understand why we ended up with just two mobile platforms, Android and iOS. To understand why modern mobile testing works the way it does, we have to go back to the biggest failure in tech history. In the late 1960s, the computer were the size of entire rooms, and every single models ran on its own operating system. That was a huge problem because software built for one machine couldn't run on any other computers. Then a huge government-funded project named Multics tried to build one massive operating system to rule them all. Instead, it became an over-engineered nightmare that constantly crashed. Two genius engineers, Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie, left the project and started their own idea. They grabbed an old abandoned computer in their office and decided to do the exact opposite of what they did on Multics project. Instead of one giant beast of a system, they built tiny simple tools that each did one job perfectly. What's more impressive, to make it run on any machine, Ritchie literally invented C programming language. Unbelievable! These people just built different. They called this new system Unix, and it's changed the computer world completely. And we are coming closer to our mobile testing topic. Here we remember that instead of huge machines with their own operating systems, appeared one universal Unix. Later, in the 1980s, when personal computers was widespread, Unix became too complex and too expensive for regular people. That opened the door for non-Unix systems like Microsoft Windows and macOS. Let's talk about these two guys. Early original macOS had a huge problem. It prioritized pretty graphics over stability. Without real memory protection, a single app crashed would freeze the whole system. And here is my favorite story. Steve Jobs, after kicked out of Apple in 1985, started a new company called Next. His team took that rock-solid, crash-proofed Unix engine and wrapped it in a beautiful user interface. A decade later, Apple was in a big trouble. Their old original macOS just couldn't keep up anymore. So they bought Next, brought Steve Jobs back, and turned his software into macOS. I hope we all remember 2007, when Apple ran their first iPhone and needed software for it. And they didn't build one from scratch. They basically trimmed macOS down to its bare bones and called it iOS. Meanwhile, here is my another favorite story. Another revolution was unfolding in the background. In 1991, Linus Torvalds was a 21-year-old computer science student in Finland, decided that commercial Unix was too expensive and decided to build his own kernel from scratch on his personal 380 PC. That's how it looked like. No words here. Me trying to build an application on MacBook M4 with the latest generation of AI, and these guys changing the industry were building operating system on calculators the size of the armchair. Linus didn't look at Unix copyrighted source code. Instead, he just looked at how Unix behave, its design philosophy, commands, and open interface standards, and coded his own engine to match it. After he posted a message that it was just a hobby. And here we're approaching an Android platform. There was one guy, Andy Rubin, nicknamed Android by his coworkers back when he worked at Apple in the 1990s, simply because he was obsessed with the robots. When he started his new company in 2003, he just used his nickname. Initially, he created the company to build smart software for digital cameras. Instead, he took Linus Torvalds' open-source Linux kernel, added custom hardware driver for camera sensors, and built Android software framework right on top of it. Eventually, he almost went broke and couldn't even pay rent. A friend had to lend him a cash just to keep the lights on for another month. But Andy realized the digital cameras market was dying, so his team made a move. They didn't rewrite the whole system. They literally took their investor presentation deck, erased the word camera, typed in phone, and started pitching it as a mobile OS to beat BlackBerry and Windows Mobile. Just about 2 weeks after Samsung executive literally laughed at his presentation, Google bought Android for $15 million. Years later, Samsung ended up having to rely on Android just to survive in the smartphone market. Guys, can you believe this happened? So, if you believe in your idea and if you believe in yourself, never give up and never throw in the towel. By 2007, Apple and Google both realized the exact same thing. Building a modern mobile system from scratch was way too hard. So, Apple picked Unix, Google chose Linux, its open source twin. And here we are. Today 99% of all smartphones run on rules created by two guys on a giant computer back in 1969. I hope this makes your daily mobile routine a bit more interesting. Stay strong, keep building your ideas, and never give up. Peace.